Good afternoon. Thank you. I think you should save the applause for our honored guest, but if it's fine, I'm happy to take it too. Good afternoon. I'm Pradeep Khosla. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering at Carnegie Mellon. I'd like to welcome you all today, and I want to especially welcome the President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, Rwanda's Honorable Minister of Finance, John Rwangwamba, and Honorable James Kimonyo, who's Rwanda's ambassador to the United States. They have graciously come to Pittsburgh to celebrate a historic partnership between the university and the government of Rwanda and a landmark moment in the expansion of global higher education. As you may know, Carnegie Mellon will establish and operate an academic program in Kigali, Rwanda, initially offering the Master of Science in Information Technology, to be followed the year after by Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. We will also collaborate with the government to create a new culture of entrepreneurship, thereby offering an innovation incubator, advanced practical training programs, executive education, and a center for research on mobility called the Mobility Research Center. All this is just the beginning of our hopes and plans to tap into the immense talent and the energy of young Rwandans who, like so many young people around the world, are eager to pursue serious study in information and communication technologies. This program addresses an urgent international priority. The world cannot afford to leave 1 billion people behind in Africa without access to education they need to be part of a global economy, and a global economy that is increasingly driven by engineering and technology. The aim of our partnership is to prepare a new generation of tech-savvy African leaders. I believe that the potential impact this will have on the future of Rwanda and East Africa is truly limitless. Carnegie Mellon has been excited and energized by President Kagame's vision for this new center of excellence for his people, and we are deeply grateful for his visit to our campus today. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the 8th president of Carnegie Mellon, Dr. Jared L. Cohen, who will introduce our distinguished guests.
Thank you, Dean Khosla, and welcome everyone to this historic occasion at Carnegie Mellon University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame. Rwanda's story is an extraordinary and compelling one. We here in the West, when we hear Rwanda, think immediately of the tragic and terrible genocide that occurred there 17 years ago. At that time, many people, both inside and outside of Rwanda, wondered how any society could ever recover from such a violent and searing upheaval. But Rwanda has recovered and is recovering more quickly and more effectively than anyone could have predicted in 1994. In the last 9 years, the country's economic output and per capita income have both more than doubled. Rwandans are living longer and healthier lives, and nearly half of Rwanda's children are completing primary education, up from 20% just a few years ago. Last year, the World Bank called Rwanda the top business reformer in the world. And just this week, the World Economic Forum named Rwanda one of the 3 most competitive economies in Africa in terms of its physical and legal infrastructure and the ease of doing business there. Clearly, This is a nation on the move, and the world is taking notice. A key reason for this extraordinary success is the leadership and vision of President Paul Kagame. Since becoming president in 2000, Paul Kagame has put in place a wide range of policies, partnerships, and strategic investments to build his nation's economic strength and multiply its connections around the world. But Rwanda faces many challenges. The country is landlocked. It's relatively small in size, and it has fewer natural resources than all of its neighbors. And of course, its people are still healing from the events of 17 years ago. President Kagame is leading his country to a new future by developing his nation's human capital, and especially by expanding opportunities for those under 25 in Rwanda and throughout East Africa. This is profoundly important. In a few decades, 20% of the entire world's young people will be Africans. Yet, the opportunities available for young Africans today to get a good education, especially in the STEM disciplines, are very few. Many bright young Rwandans go overseas for university and graduate school, and many never return. President Kagame is determined to end this brain drain. He's doing this by creating new educational opportunities and by fostering a climate for entrepreneurs to generate new businesses and new economic growth. He recognizes that building prosperity for his country and for Africa will depend on creating a knowledge-based economy, and he has set the very ambitious goal of completing this transition by 2020. Mr. President, if you are looking for a university that shares your vision, that likes to think big, and that loves ambitious goals, you've come to the right place. Like you, we recognize how information and communications technologies are vital to prosperity in the world today and will be even more important in the future. Our university also has wide experience in creating and sustaining educational programs around the world. One principle we have in every CMU degree program, and a principle that will be crucial for our Rwandan partners in inviting us to participate in this new center, is that we maintain consistently high educational standards everywhere. Every student at Carnegie Mellon in Rwanda will meet the same admissions and degree requirements as students do in Pittsburgh and at all of our other campuses around the world. Our students in Kigali will be immersed in practical and creative problem solving and in collaborating across disciplines, just as all of our students are here and in our other campuses. And their courses will be just as focused on real-world needs and capacities in information technology. We expect that Rwanda and East Africa will be particularly rich soil in which these ideas will flourish. We hope to see some of our Kigali students visiting here in Pittsburgh, just as we hope students from Pittsburgh and other CMU campuses will collaborate on projects in Rwanda. And one thing I can predict with complete confidence, the complaints emanating from Kigali about the hard work and long hours will be just as loud as they are here in Pittsburgh. We at Carnegie Mellon are looking forward to what our Rwandan students will accomplish and what they will teach us. We are expecting great things. Thank you, Mr. President, for the confidence you have shown in Carnegie Mellon. We look forward to being a great partner. Now it is my pleasure to invite to the podium the President of the Republic of Rwanda, President Paul Kagame.
Thank you. Dr. Jed Cohen, President of Carnegie Mellon University, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Pradeep, Dean of Faculty of Engineering, students, faculty and staff of Carnegie Mellon, members of the Pittsburgh community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Cohen, for your kind introduction. It is a great pleasure to be here with you this evening. And I would like to thank you for the warmth and hospitality with which we have been received, a sign of the friendship that was initiated a few years ago. Indeed, this is an important occasion for us because the partnership between Carnegie Mellon University and the government of Rwanda has matured to see the start of the new campus in Rwanda, serving both our country and the region. I do believe this is evidence of a changing tide in a global partnership, one that I am happy to personally associate with. We know that despite decades of partnership between developed and developing nations, the world remains largely imbalanced in terms of socio-economic progress. On the one hand, some nations have over time acquired many skills and technological capabilities to better the lives of their people. While on the other hand, you have societies that are still trapped in poverty and dealing with the most basic development issues. Often, the quick fix to this imbalance has been aid flows from rich nations. In many areas, this aid has not been properly used or well targeted. In actual fact, there are no quick fixes. Sustained development requires that nations take ownership of their own agenda, charting their own way forward, and working with those who wish to support them along this path. Countries that possess the skills and technological know-how required for rapid socio-economic transformation can work with those who do not yet have them, so that these skills are transferred in a sustainable and more meaningful manner. This not only leads to innovative solutions for context-specific challenges, it also powers growth and facilitates greater participation in the global economy. This new model of partnership will require a shift in global development and cooperation practice. Developing nations, including those in Africa, will have to review how they conduct their business. In so doing, the developed countries will recognize that given the interconnected nature of our world, prosperity is only truly significant if it has a broader reach. For this to happen, there must be engagement based on mutual respect and interests that ultimately meet everyone's aspirations. In terms of sustainable development, Rwanda has, among other things, established a solid foundation of scientific and technological knowledge as a priority. Our national development agenda is focused on investing in our major and indispensable resource, which is our people. Hence, the need of transforming our society into a knowledge-based one. It is clear to us that technology is critical in supporting these objectives. We have put in place policies and strategies that support public and private institutions, both local and foreign, to provide a wide range of skills to our people. We have invested in communications infrastructure, such as high-capacity broadband networks that connect our education centers, healthcare facilities, and government institutions to each other and the rest of the world. With these technologies, our institutions are able to tap into a global pool of knowledge and build innovative capability. Distinguished audience, dear friends, the partnership we are witnessing here today testifies to this timely approach of matching skills with where they are most needed to address complex development challenges and change lives for the better. Educational institutions, government, and industry need to work together more extensively to make these partnerships sustainable and available to as many people in the developing world as possible. I'm glad that Rwanda has been able to partner with CMU with its proven technological capabilities and integrated approach to education and development. The CMU campus in Rwanda will offer our citizens and those from the wider region the opportunity to develop the skills for innovation and entrepreneurship which will take our nations forward. Additionally, the advantages of in-country training are most obvious because it will allow a greater number of students to afford and access a higher level of skills and knowledge, and the retention of well-trained professionals where they are needed most in our developing parts of the world. Before I conclude, let me thank those individuals from the side of Carnegie Mellon University and from our side, the government of Rwanda, who have worked so tirelessly in the past weeks, months, and a couple of years to bring this partnership to this level. Let me once again appreciate this collaboration between institutions of higher learning, government, and the private sector involved in such ventures. This is the way forward to have sustainable development, and we are happy to be on this journey with you here present and the entire community of this university and beyond. I thank you for your kind attention and look forward to discussing these issues further with you in the session to follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm once again reminded of how exciting your vision for the future is and how important this program is for Carnegie Mellon and for the people of Rwanda. And I think on behalf of our community out here and on behalf of my president, I can say that we will not let you down. So thank you very much. President Kagame has graciously agreed to answer a few questions. And since we have time, we'll go ahead with the Q&A period. The way it's going to work is His Excellency prefers that 3 questions be asked in tandem at the same time, and then he will answer all 3, and then they'll be followed by 3 more questions. So we'll keep on doing this until we run out of time, which is about 30 minutes from now. So may I request the first set of 3 questions to be presented to His Excellency?
Hi, my name is Dinesh Ayapan. I'm a mechanical engineering student. I was wondering if President Kagame would tell us a little bit more about himself, like who influenced him as a child and how has Rwanda grown and developed in his eyes?
Hello, I'm Andres Velez, an economics student at Carnegie Mellon, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on China's increasing influence and investment in Africa.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Erna Biswas. I'm a senior studying business administration. 2 summers ago, I had the chance to go to Rwanda and collaborate with some of the schools in Rwanda, and I would like to ask, how do you envision a continued collaboration between students at CMU and students at CMU Rwanda?
About myself, probably this is the most difficult question for me. But I have a complicated background. Born in Rwanda in 1957. By the way, next month is that's where my birthday, next month. Then when I was 3.5 years old, my family went into exile in a neighboring country, in Uganda. Then I spent there 30 years as a refugee. While in Uganda with other Rwandese who were exiled, we formed an organization and to fight for our rights and to liberate our country, which we did. And, but over many years, from during the colonial period, after Rwanda went through many tragedies. I would not go into details because that would take a lot of time. And then, so that's how I grew up, and participated in the struggle, and then the tragic situation of 1994, the last one we witnessed, and the worst of them all. There had been genocides in Rwanda over decades, but this one was the worst. So we lost 1 million people, and so today we are we have managed to put pieces back together of what remained as a country, and we are building on the foundations we have laid in the last 17 years. So we are now making progress, and I happen to be there in the middle of it with many other Rwandans trying to work together among ourselves and the rest of the world to rebuild a nation, or build a new nation of Rwanda, which we are happy today has come to a point where we can partner with the university, the Carnegie Mellon University, and I'm happy to be one among those trying to make that partnership work for the country. So that's me. There is a lot more, but I cannot say it all for lack of the time. It would probably take more time than we have today. Now, on the second question of China, how I view it, well, China is emerging as a power in its own right. Probably many people here know its history more than I do, more than I know. Then we have seen it develop influence, capabilities of different kinds, including the technological capabilities that we are talking about today, and many other strengths that have made it a global player. Well, one of the elements is its size in terms of population. 1 point something billion people, 1.3 or 4. That size itself is a strength. Then its economy, we've seen it develop to a level of being number 2 in the world. When it comes to relating with Africa, it relates with Africa more or less as it relates with the rest of the world. But it has used its power to, or has leveraged it in this kind of relationship. Now, for Africa, China provides some kind of alternative. Africa has related with the other countries of the world, developing countries of the world. And in most cases, Africa, in my view, has not got to the level it should be. Africa remains poor. Africa remains a continent of conflicts and disease and all sorts of things. And the problems are twofold, in my view. One is Africa itself. We need to simply do a lot more and better than we have been doing for ourselves. And therefore leverage the size, as I said, the size of Africa now. Africa has a population of 1 billion people, And in terms of resources, I don't think there's any continent that is endowed with more resources than Africa is. So we need to make sense of this for our development. The other point I said twofold. The first one was that. The second one is how the rest of the world also, which is far ahead in terms of development, has continued more or less to simply marginalize Africa and take away the resources and cheaply and process them, add value, and bring them back to sell them to Africa, where the raw materials came from in the first place. And in fact, Africa has not been looked at as a partner, a viable partner, a strong partner with the rest of the world who can do serious business. Africa is just looked at as a humanitarian case, as a case to go and do good and sympathize and things like that. But I think this needs to change. So while this is already changing, China comes in and provides an alternative. What you can't have with one country that is developed, you can have it with China. And it has resources that it is availing to Africa, resources to put in the kinds of areas of investment that are important to the growth of the economy of Africa, and the resources that have been lacking otherwise in terms of developing, say, infrastructure and so on and so forth. So I would just zero it on saying it provides an alternative for Africa to be able to leverage its diverse resources to be able to be where we want to be.
Third question.
Then the last one was certainly I appreciate that many students of Carnegie Mellon University have visited Rwanda and have interacted with the different levels of our society, institutions, and we want more of the students to come, and we want to keep identifying different areas where we can work together using the skills that many of you have, that all of you have, that from this university do visit our country. So we are just, this partnership that we have strengthened today opens up these possibilities and opportunities and the doors for Rwanda and students from this great institution to come and work with us.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And also, Professor Bruce Krogh, who's going to be the president, you should contact him and he'll be happy to make the connections. Let's go to the second round of questions. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Brandon Mittman. I'm a freshman studying civil and environmental engineering and engineering and public policy. My question is, what role will green technology and sustainable energy play in Rwanda as you hope to further expand the country's economy and infrastructure?
My name is Apia Kusi Adumako from High School studying public policy and management. Your Excellency, this question might be too early to ask, but I just want to find out, what do you intend to do when you retire from politics in 2017?
Number 3.
Hi, my name is Amy Bithyani, and I'm also a Master's in Public Policy and Management student at Hines College and a member of the Project Rwanda team. And my question is, what specific steps are being taken to ensure that basic human development needs, such as youth access to education and clean water access, are being met in order to sustain such high-level educational progress?
Well, as I stated, technology is probably a very significant missing link between developed and underdeveloped parts of the world. If you have technology, then the bridge, the gap can easily be bridged between underdevelopment and development. So, and as therefore, and this applies almost in every sector of our economy or every part of our lives. And when it comes to energy, absolutely, energy is key for business, is key for normal life, whether it's in education or health or in homes and so on and so forth. It's energy and sustainable energy. These days looking at clean energy, and we've been identifying sources of clean energy which are plenty in Rwanda and in Africa, and we welcome the two kinds of resources. One, the skills, the knowledge, the know-how, technology, and financial resources that are also required to bring this to fruition, to serve the people of our countries. When I retire from politics, I think I'm spoiled for choices from which I can pick one that I will, but I intend to do other things probably I haven't had time to do. Maybe I may register, if you allow myself with the university to come and study. I would love to do that. I would very much love to do that. I will keep around and still serve my country in partnership with those who will be taking over from me. I think I can still make a contribution out of the office. I can keep sharing with the people my experiences that have probably helped in addressing some of the problems we have faced together. Sit back at home and rest a bit and do farming and reading and writing memoirs about things I have experienced. So that's, I'm looking at all of this, but I think I want to still make the remaining part of my life out of the office very productive. So after 2017, if we four things remain fine, then I should still be in a good shape to do a number of things for myself and for my country. I will continue to serve my country in a different capacity. Because even before I was president, I was serving my country. So during the time I'm serving as a president, I'm serving my country. I'm looking at a possibility, and it is there, certainly. There is life after being a president. I will still serve my country. Steps to access education and other things. We created a vision in our country, Vision 2020. We are looking at where we are going to be from 2000 and 2020. And we had a plan and strategies to achieve that plan. the plan that entails investing in our people, making sure that our people have good health and access education and training and can have skills and knowledge to grow themselves and grow the economy, and a number of other things that we have in that plan. And therefore, when we are talking about education, it's very much what we focus on as a way of investing in the other resource I was talking about. And 15% of our budget goes to education. It's a big chunk of it. And education and health take the biggest, and then we also invest in agriculture to make sure that we have food security for our people, and all of these definitely are served well by different other resources like water. So we have plenty of water in our country. We only need to know how to manage it well in combination with other resources. Land and water management and the environment, how we deal with the environment, are very key in sustainable development that we seek for ourselves.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let's go to a third set of questions, and I'm taking a little bit of liberty out here, but I assume Your Excellency is okay with me going to a third set of questions. Thank you, sir. Please.
President Kagame, first, just wanted to welcome you to Pittsburgh. I am a native of Pittsburgh, so I'm so proud that you're here today. I'm currently getting my MBA at the Tepper School of Business, and so my question for you, I know that the Millennium Development Goals were a real landmark achievement in helping to focus the international community on certain development priorities, and I know that Rwanda has had more success than a lot of the other countries with the Millennium Development Goals. And so I was curious, in your view, what you think Rwanda has done differently and what some of the other countries could do to help meet those targets.
Yes, sir.
Hi, President Kagame. My name is Sudi Gumi, and I'm also a first-year MBA student at Tepper. I've had the privilege of visiting Rwanda and got to see firsthand the remarkable change that's been going on there. It was really hard to tell that a genocide just happened only 17 years ago. And in talking to people, no one could really pinpoint how the country and people have changed their mindset. So my question is, how have you led Rwanda to accomplish so much and have changed the country's mindset? And more importantly, how do you ensure that these changes are sustainable after you leave office?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Drogi. I'm a doctoral student at the University of Pittsburgh. And I'd also like to thank you very much for coming, and I feel honored as well that you came to Pittsburgh. My question is, with the remarkable economic growth taking place right now in Rwanda, it seems that growth could be multiplied and further carried out in neighboring East African countries if more economic and technological collaboration were able to take place in the region. How are you and your government currently working and planning to work in the future to make such collaboration happen?
Well, MDG, there is a similarity in the three questions. So for the MDGs, what we've done differently, not so much differently. I think it's just maybe doing or trying, always focusing on trying to do the right thing that we all know in some cases people not doing what they know they should be doing. It's really more of that. I tell everyone here that I think for the success of our countries in meeting the Millennium Development Goals or other development needs, what needs to be done is clear. We've discussed it for years. We've talked about it. I think the difference lies in just being able to do it and doing it right. In other cases, people know in some places, in some cases, people know what to do. They just don't do it. There is no miracle here. There is no other invention. Honestly, I'm just. So there is nothing that is so special, so different between us and others where maybe things have not worked. It's just because maybe we've learned lessons from a tragedy. We've learned the hard way, and we somehow the dark cloud came with a silver lining on it, where we emerged as better people, as people who now, having been hurt so badly, having sunk so low, maybe the only place to go was now up. And we started confronting the realities of our situation head on and just making some progress, being able to move on. So we've invested, we don't have, as somebody earlier pointed out, we don't have so much in terms of the natural resources talked about, but at least we've been able to organize and ourselves and make the right choices, put in place the policies that will serve us, and optimize on the resources that we have by deploying them properly and with a sense of accountability that we need to get the value for every dollar we spend, and especially that coming out to benefit our people. It has been our main focus. We've focused on this almost to a fault. And we have seen some progress. We are not yet where we want to be, but we've seen a good progress and want to make more progress. So really the difference is just being able to do what you know you need to do and striving to do it right and holding ourselves accountable and making sure that we keep moving on. And that's how we are going to meet the MDGs. That is the experience as we see it by 2015. The mindset. This is another challenging issue. Now, really we've learned lessons. We've learned lessons from our history, and we decided to keep challenging ourselves. We discuss at every level in the country. We talk to our citizens. They talk to us. They ask questions. We ask questions. And some of the questions are like, for example, we ask ourselves, why did this that happened to us happen to us? This that happened to us in terms of genocide, political divisions that were there that made people hate each other, and you say, why? What was in it for all of us, other than the destruction that we have witnessed? So, can't we change our lives? Can't we? There is nobody that would, and we debate, we talk about it. We say there is nobody else that will come and uplift us from this, and other than starting with ourselves, and maybe the others can help, they can lend a hand, they can give support, but they cannot substitute us in terms of being able to do things ourselves and taking ourselves forward. So it is something we've discussed and talked about and said, this is not what we got in 1994 is not anything anybody deserves, and Rwanda is no exception. We did not deserve this kind of thing. So we need to quickly change our lives. And that's how we have steadily and progressively changed our thinking through the bad experience, but through also facing it frankly and honestly, and looking in the eyes of the reality and ourselves and each other, and then saying we need to change our lives, we need to do it. And then we go ahead and do it. So now, we've seen progress after progress every year that has passed. We want to keep making progress. And the bigger question which you raised in this is ensuring sustainability. This is a very important question. We try to think about it in terms of building institutions so that the sustainability of progress and other things we've done in Rwanda do not depend on any individual. They do not depend on the president. They do not depend on the minister or some other individual, but rather on the institutions that we can leave behind and the thinking we can leave behind when our time comes to leave the stage, and then have continuity in terms of progress and serving our people. This is what we can humanly do. We try to do it. Whether there will be another madness brought in by somebody else and so on to kill these institutions and then later on result into the deaths of the people we had as we saw it many years ago, is something we want to prevent and never have again. So this is always at the back of our minds to say, let's individually do our best, let's build institutions, let's think about sustainability of the progress that we are making. This is what we try to do. And for East African community, we have an East African community that has 5 countries, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, which has a population of about 130 million people. We've tried to work for integration of these countries. After all, these are people that have a lot in common, and I think we all benefit if we come together in this form of integration, and we've done it by having a customs union, working on the common market, making East Africa a common market for all of us, and then having possibly one currency that serves the whole union, and then with the possibility of a political federation. There is a roadmap based on these 4 stages, and we are working stage by stage, making sure that we avoid the mistakes that would reverse the process. So, and that every step we take benefits the economy of every partner state and the East African community as a whole.
Thank you, Your Excellency. One of my tasks is to keep His Excellency on time and make sure he goes to his next appointment. With that said, I failed my task by 30 seconds. I think I'll get an A-. Please join me once again in thanking His Excellency President Kagame.